thank you for this opportunity, for giving us a chance to share our experience with API6. That's the whole goal of this presentation. Um, so we've been assisting these meetings like last year, the end of last year, started assisting. This was because we started using API6 as our gateway. So I've prepared here a small presentation, which I will share with you. Can you all see? Yeah? Can you all see the presentation?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. So from a piece to a puzzle, why did we choose this? It was more because we started using it isolated so we needed a solution for a problem we had, and then it became part of larger solutions, which we consider being here our puzzles, solutions, or applications. So this is just a little bit about me. I've been working in the IT sector full on since like 2007. Been doing other work since 2002 to 2007. But since then, I've been in many areas, and our last area where we have our focus on at the moment has to do with middleware. Okay, I had to show here the people who I worked with, which is Yuri, Duarte, and Gabriel. So we are a small team, but especially thanks to Yuri and Duarte, I haven't been so much self-motivated, but more motivated because of them. They have built extraordinary things, and the direction is good for the whole team regarding cloud native and the usage of API6. So I'm like light years away from Bobur's presentations, of course, but this is just a small introduction of how we started, how we got to API6. Okay, so the client had this thing that we say here. I'll show you the thing in a moment, which is like a load balancer. And the problem is, and many have already heard these kind of conversations, like that piece of software is legacy, we'll be changing it soon. We have other critical things passing by. We don't want to touch it that much. Before we just routed to one server, where that server routed to all the other servers and applications, but that doesn't exist anymore because so what do you have here for a solution? So we chose not to touch the thing, and we chose to use the Apache HTTP server. Okay, so this is the horrible thing. Just go on ahead. So we built something like this, and it was all centralized, and the client was pretty happy. We applied policies, and we got the thing going. All access logs, you could see like all the sites were working fine. You can like troubleshoot sites which were not working. So the client was pretty happy. But then we got to a point where another challenge came. So this specific place, they start off with like some web services and some services communicating with each other, but sometimes they get booms of services they need to implement, and it goes along time. So time passes by. Probably they don't organize at the start. They don't see what the future is, and then at some point it probably gets really hard to manage. The complexity when you're talking about a lot of services communicating with each other in environments. Another thing we saw was that everyone had their authentication authorization, like users and passwords sprawl everywhere, hard to manage. A server needed to contact three, they had three different ones, passwords, authentication. And so what we needed to do was find a solution pretty quick so we can solve, I guess, two problems here. One was like centralization, and another one was the many authentication authorizations that were everywhere in the servers, in each server. Okay. So if you like changing from F to H and you needed to change the whole environment, you do it once and you do it like well done, or with some structure at least, not so unorganized. Okay. So up here, I don't know if you can see, it's how we ended up using API 6. I don't know if you can see here. So there was some kind of demands or prerequisites. They needed something that was open source. They couldn't invest with vendor-specific gateways. So we were looking for open source gateways. We tried this is like a year, more than a year ago. Okay, we tried a lot of gateways here, and our first tests were like pass through, like proxy effect. Goes to the gateway and goes to the backend service. The client also had another thing that he was not yet comfortable with using Kubernetes. Okay, so we needed something that we can deploy on the machine. So API 6 had this cool way of deploying it with Docker. Okay. Next, we needed to show use case A, put it in a demo environment and put it up and show that with configurations you can do you can centralize it, so all the point-to-point connections, no more. You put something in the middle and everyone goes to that gateway, that centralized access. So that will resolve all the point-to-point. And the other one was you only ask for a token, and on one authentication authorization service, you don't ask tokens on all of them. They can be like application tokens when API 6 talks to the web service, through the authentication. But we only have the users in one centralized place. Okay, and that would fix all the passwords on all the users that were everywhere. And we actually managed to do that. And this was the first plugin we used. It was forward auth. We had 1, 2, and we were demonstrating with Keycloak. Okay, this you can see this scheme like this in the API 6 websites with the OpenID Connect, but we were relaying Keycloak through API 6, just routing upstream server to API 6. Everything goes through API 6. And we could implement this. It was pretty cool because we have a user and a password. We ask for a token, and then we would send that token in the header field to the web service, and it would be pretty cool. It will pass. It will get validated. Simple validation. That's all we needed. Something that was robust and could validate, and something working as API 6, which did all the work. So I think this is where we saw that we're going to solve a lot of things here. If clients want to build integration web services and stuff, we have a solution for not only upstreaming the web services and the authentication. We are able to give here some kind of solution, robust solution. So yep, forward auth was the first key, and we were really happy about that. So yeah, the client, we suggested API 6. Client didn't want to touch the Apache HTTP service for the website, migrate it in the future, but wanted something specific with API 6 for web services. Yeah. So You might ask, okay, so we know how you ended up using it. Okay, it was certain demands you got there, but why are you using it? And well, sometimes the answer can be easy. You can just say because it works, and it's. But why? Sometimes, depending on clients or the people you talk, technical people, non-technical, management. You need to probably help them understand why you are using it. And we actually got a lot of information from this card, which we see in the landscape of CNCF. Okay, and by looking at the card, I could actually get a lot of not arguments or get a lot of conversation in various areas of API6. One of them is the conversation, things you can talk about, about the Apache Software Foundation. I, for many years, have been working in different infrastructures. I've always came across the Apache HTTP server from the Apache Software Foundation. Never let me down. So if I can say that. Yep, so a lot of things can be said, interesting things, history, everything about the Apache Software Foundation. It's pretty cool. Other things is that at least my talk of things that I say and the reasons why, because you can say, okay, why don't you use the other gateways and implement the same thing? We know how you did it with that one. It's probably a matter of just configuration. You can end up doing it with another one that's there. So, but why? And these are the reasons that I try, because I'm happy with APISIX, to talk about. Okay, so the first commit here, robust application, community with hundreds of contributors. So this is excellent. It's around the clock. It's brilliant. One, people are going to sleep, others are waking up. Can't control it. So a lot of people working together. It's really powerful. Work on product is constantly being done. So latest commits, so people committing, doing work, new releases several times a year. Documentation and tutorials, sites full of information, communication channels. Here are some. Bob would have talked to a few of them, which are Slack and mailing lists and many more. Okay. So yeah, these are the reasons why we do our conversation and we explain to friends and clients why we use it. Okay. So I'm gonna have to tell you a story, because in my presentations there are always small stories, just to break the ice. And this story is about a young man. Okay, well, once upon a time there was a man who would build like solutions and applications, and he would use pieces of puzzles and he would join all of these. But there was a problem. There were like no straight edge pieces of the puzzle. So he'd always feel incomplete. So no matter how small, he would show someone and someone would say, okay, man, you're missing something there, but it's complete. Or you can add more pieces. No, we don't want to add no more pieces. Okay, but something's missing. And no matter how small or how big you build your solutions, that man always had that, could not see, a full, this being complete, the puzzle being complete. But that's because the pieces, they are like this, you only have these kind of pieces. So what did the person do to solve this problem? I don't know if anyone has an idea. Well, he built a frame around it. And it doesn't seem so incomplete. And then another thing interesting goes here, like if you look at this, can anyone see where the application really is? That's because if you flip it over, then you got the application. So we'll be showing a demo about this application shortly, and we invite anyone to actually do some testing while we do some configurations and actually see what things are happening. So building applications with APISIX was a game changer for us, and that's because of the OpenID Connect, which we'll be demonstrating shortly. Okay, we configured APISIX with the authentication authorization external service, which was Keycloak. We configured it correctly, and then in the web service, we just printed out the header fields. So session tokens get passed by the users down to authentication authorization external service, and then 5.6 is like brilliant. You can have one call, a million calls, one person, million people. The web service in every call, you get all the information in the header fields. That's so you get all this mechanism done. So I think this is another reason why it was. This was like one huge reason why we can actually build applications so fast. You know, abstract ourselves from this from that layer, the gateway and authorization, and just use the header fields and implement any logic. Yeah. So I don't know if I still have some time to quickly do a presentation here. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so here we have APISIX. I can actually share this in the chat if anyone wants to follow. They just have to put that in the hosts. This is like a solution. We have APISIX, backhand in Go, web services, simple. We'll be showing. So the chat is here. Okay. So if you try to access through the IP here, you get a message for route not found. That's why. That's because APISIX has no routes. Okay. Behind the application, we got everything set. Okay. We just need to do the routes. So we got the routes here. And the first route is the application. Oh, it's not this one. It's this one. It's the application route. And if you see here, it's the main application route. And if you see here, we've got the plugin, the OpenID Connect plugin. So if we launch, if you come here and refresh it, you got the main application. Okay. So if you go now and so the main application has OpenID Connect. OpenID Connect calls Keycloak. So we've also got here a route to Keycloak. The route to Keycloak is just a simple pass through. Okay. We just want it to go through the gateway. Gateway is our main point of entrance. You see, this is in Kubernetes. You got the Keycloak running inside. So if we launch this one, you got Keycloak, and Keycloak is here. Refresh. We got the Keycloak. Okay. Next, we'll launch because we have a files, a storage service behind, we'll launch another one where we have our multimedia files, and we'll be using this to demonstrate how this works. If you can see here, there's one important detail. There is no OpenID Connect here. So go back. Oops, yeah. We'll launch this one. And if you go back and you refresh it, you've got the 3. So now, if you do try to use the IP, you still can't get there. And that's because we've got a host defined. That's why I pasted in the chat. If anyone wants to like access the application, they just have to put it in their hosts file in their PC. So if I go to NetTour, further demo application, you got a problem. Oops. This is like cache and cookie. I've been testing it before. So pretty cool. It goes through APISIX. APISIX has the OpenID Connect, validates. Oops, it's the first try. Let's redirect it to the login key cloak. So in this case, we have like in this case, we have like a backend administration where you can actually like create users, okay? And you can create certain things here. So all goes through APISIX. We don't want to show here the application, just the going through APISIX. But for example, if you want to like do something like add something, information, okay. Trying to add a category. Like, for example, if Bobo wanted to come to Portugal, to somewhere in the middle of nowhere, I could get Bobo the Summer Special, okay, which is a special category, okay. Okay, and you can add a lot of topics here. So I'm adding this, and can't forget it's going through APISIX. Okay, so I'll just do here some upload images pretty quick. So the summer special, yep, explore here, images. Okay, we can have this one. Okay. This is like a demonstration, as I said. Then lock it all. Okay, we can have one here. Upload. Okay. And the topic, upload images, have the house. We can have here the house. Yeah. Upload. So we got all working. The thing is if you try to access, anyone tries to access the application in this, they should surely get, they will get redirected to the login page if you test it. I don't know if anyone is testing it, but it should be taking you to the login page. But if I go and copy the link image, and if I share it with you guys here, remember, we didn't use OpenID Connect. So if you access this, you should be able to download the image. So if, okay. So I don't know if you guys are trying it, you should be able to access the image. If I open here another one, and if I put the image, I get the image here, okay. So this resource is not protected. How can we protect it? It's simple. Just add the OpenID Connect. So if we go here and you have the images, and if you add the OpenID Connect, run that. It should be protected. Okay. So if you access, try to access now. Where is it? Chat. Yeah, there it is. If we try to access this, we have a problem. And we ran into this problem and we started voting. Okay, who votes this is problem with APISIX? Or is this a problem with Keycloak? Or is this a problem with MinIO? We use MinIO for the file server, for the storage service. And we debugged the situation. We found out that we are missing two special parameters here because MinIO, we didn't check MinIO. We just try to solve it in API6 because MinIO, when you're doing OpenID Connect, it relays. Remember when I said for 5 to 6, it relays a lot of information that you can use, for business logic and everything. And it also relays that information to MinIO, but MinIO was saying, nah, the header fields are too large, metadata is too large, we can't fulfill your request. So we had to add these two here because we didn't want, for now, information being relayed to MinIO. So we added this. Correct. We put the set user info header false and the set ID token header a false. So we reduced the metadata or the header fields. So we ran that. And then when we accessed I think I gotta get here it is. Always losing the link, sorry. Oops, let me just, it downloaded it. Can you guys like access it? The resource? Something went wrong here. Let's check. The header info to images. Yeah. Can anyone access the resource at the moment? Anyone tried? No.
No, we are unable to access it.
You are unable to access?
Yeah, previously also I was unable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The idea here is if we create here a user, guys. Okay. I was able to access because I still had a session here. If I log out.
Yeah, you need to log out.
Yeah. Okay. We allow that. So now if I do try to access the resource, I should get redirected to the access page. There we go. Now I don't have a user, but if I create a user, for example, for you guys to test, for example, user everyone, username everyone. I'll share the password, which is everyone also at everyone.com. Okay, I've created a user. You won't be able to see any houses, anything, but you should be, with that user, if you log in, you can download the resource now. So pretty cool. APISIX taking care of all the authentication, the authorization, and here's a pretty good example where we missed a resource and we added OpenID Connect to that resource. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think I have much time. I've extended so much. So thank you, everyone, and have a nice day. So sorry, so much time. Yeah.